Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the top 5 best civilization bonuses in Age of Empires 2. Now it's very important to understand how civilization bonuses will affect different civilizations, and knowing which bonuses are the best can actually help you pick out which civilizations you want to play. Generally speaking, at least for me, civilization bonuses that revolve around saving resources or free upgrades tend to have a higher priority up on the list simply because they just get you further ahead in the game, and that allows for better decision making and more tempo in game. So with that said, here's my top 5 lists for best civilization bonuses in Age of Empires, and honestly, there are so many good bonuses right now with all 45 civilizations in the game being somewhat viable that you can probably disagree with me on every single one. So feel free to let me know in the comments below what your list would look like, and with all that said, let's truly hop into the list. Starting off at number 5, I've got something I have to point out. We're going to actually jump with the Turks having the Light Cav upgrade and the Hussar upgrade completely for free. This bonus, in my opinion, makes the Turks a solid and flexible civilization. If you think about it, without this bonus, the Turks are actually quite one-dimensional, only getting bonuses towards their gunpowder and a little bit of gold mining. Obviously, they do get a side bonus that gives extra pierce armor to the Light Cav line, but I think even without that, or even with that in consideration, the better bonus of the two is the Light Cav and Hussar upgrades coming in for free. The reason I really like this bonus is that it gives you nice tempo, but it also saves you a really good amount of resources. It saves you 150 food and 50 gold in Castle Age, and then another 500 food and 600 gold in Imperial Age, for a total of 650 food and 650 gold. This is a decent chunk of resource that you're saving, and the only reason this bonus isn't higher up on the list is because not every game merits Light Cav or Hussar. Well, if you're me on Arabia, then yes, every game merits Hussar, but for the average player, you're not always going to go for Hussar, and realistically speaking, sometimes having the free Hussar upgrade doesn't actually help you out of a situation. Remember, the Hussar upgrade is priced as is because it's a solid late game option when gold runs out. However, in early Imperial Age, going Hussar opening doesn't usually work out the best, and it could be decent, but generally speaking, there are better options. And so the amount of resources you save is really good in the long run, but doesn't quite act like a direct power spike in Imperial Age where you're saving 1100 resources. It's not as powerful as it sounds in early Imp is the point I'm trying to make. Now, even considering those factors, I still think it's a really strong bonus, and it gives Turks that flexibility and that tempo advantage it needs to push a lead and get some nice map control on the field, which is really what the Turks thrive off as a civ in general. I think the free Light Cav upgrade especially is really crucial because although it's the cheaper one of the two, I think the tempo you get from having Light Cav kick in right away is huge, especially in this meta where you have Light Cav and a bunch of walls. You get to go Light Cav right away, control the map, snipe enemy monks, and just get so much vision on the map uncontested, and I feel like that situation alone comes up way more often than you might expect, both on Arena and on Arabia. Alright, moving on to number 4, we've got our first economy bonus of many, beware. We've got the longer lasting resources from the mines, specifically 15% longer lasting resources. Now, a lot of people get confused on what this means. Like, what does it mean that my resources are lasting longer? Well, it's quite simply the fact that you're gonna gather at the same pace that you normally do, so you're not actually gathering faster with the mines, but there's just gonna be more resource left over. For example, if you're chopping a tree that has 100 wood, with the mines, you will chop it at the same pace as any other generic civilization, but the tree won't finish after you take 100 wood from it. It's actually going to continue until you take 115 wood from it, accounting for that 15% extra resource. And by the way, that helps not only on trees, but on boars, on sheep, everything in the game that's a resource. I think with the exception of farms. I'm not sure, maybe my editor, if he knows, can put up a point. If not, let me know in the comments. I'm not sure if you get that effect from farms. I think you don't, but everything else in the game, you get longer lasting by 15%, which means all your resources naturally are yielding 15% more over the course of a game. This is a really nice bonus because it has a lot of implications. Number 1, you get more of the precious hunt in the early game, allowing you to do really fast build orders and get a really smooth start off the bat. Number 2, it makes your gold last longer, so in the late game when gold and stone, these precious minerals start running out, you're gonna last a little bit longer, and sometimes that gets you the win or just gets you over the edge where you have gold units still and your opponent is completely out of gold. Sometimes that timing window can win you the game. And lastly, it makes it so your mining camps and your lumber camps are more efficient for a little bit longer. You don't need to refresh your lumber camp as often if the wood is lasting a little bit longer. Obviously, it's a minor point, but it's definitely worth noting nonetheless. Overall, I think this bonus is fantastic, and it's definitely like the pillar of what the mines are. Without this bonus, the mines would not nearly be as strong as they are currently, and I would even say a nerf to this bonus would also really hurt the mines. The fact that it's at 15% and not 10%, for example, is a really big deal. Mines need to keep this bonus to be meta relevant. If it gets nerfed, mines take a huge hit. If you give this bonus to any other civ, that civ pretty much automatically becomes S tier. Simple as that. This bonus is insane. Moving on to number 3, we've got a bonus that I think if you give it to any other civ in the game, again, that civ would just become bonkers. And we've got the advancing faster through the ages from melee, specifically 66% faster through every age. This bonus is ridiculous, and honestly, it's kind of wasted on the melee. Don't get me wrong, on water maps, this bonus is great for melee because they get some other bonuses that really make their synergy insane, and water maps or hybrid maps, they tend to dominate those areas. And on Arabia, it's not even a bad bonus. It's not like you get off to a bad start. You still get off to a decent start, albeit a little bit slow and fragile because melee don't get any other bonuses that help you get through the early game on land maps. But of course, the developers did this intentionally because they knew how strong this bonus truly is. And in fact, this bonus alone makes melee a top 5 arena civ right off the bat, because getting through the ages faster is insane for tempo and timing attacks in Age of Empires. Remember, snowballing is a very real thing when it comes to RTS games, and specifically Age of Empires 2. Something like a forward castle when your opponent is not ready for it can easily win you the game. Getting crossbow and bodkin before your opponent is in castle age can easily win you the game, even if you have to break through one layer of palisade wall. Getting elephants behind your opponent's base when he thinks you went to pick magyards can easily win you the game. So as you can see, this bonus just facilitates so many different shenanigans from the melee and lets them get away with a ton of greed as well. If you give this bonus to any other civilization that also gets another bonus, like in the early game, say for example Dravidians that get an extra 200 wood, this bonus would be absolutely busted. It would break Dravidians, probably the only thing that would break Dravidians on land maps. This bonus is absolutely ridiculous, and it's balanced out by the fact that melee don't really get too many other bonuses regarding land maps. Obviously in Castle Age onwards, they do get some nice bonuses, and they do get the infantry armor that helps them in the early game, but those bonuses don't necessarily help turbo melee. They just give a little bit of stronger timing or power spike on top of the already strong power spike, so it fits nicely with melee. But really, it's the advancing faster through the ages that makes melee what melee is currently. Really strong bonus, definitely helps the civ out a ton. Moving on to number 2, we've got probably one of the most broken economy bonuses in the game, and honestly, I'm not sure how this even made it through considering the history behind this bonus. So for those who don't know, before I reveal what 2 is, Malians had a free gold mining upgrade. They got both for free. Then that got nerfed and they got only the first gold mining upgrade for free. Then that got removed from the Malians, they gave it to the Bohemians, and they gave both mining technologies of both stone and gold for free to the Bohemians. Think about how crazy that was, that Malians had just 1 gold and now Bohemians get 2 gold and 2 stone for free. So raw resources, you're actually going to save 550 food and 300 wood over the course of Feudal Age and Castle Age when it comes to just getting these upgrades. Not only that, but they come in right away, which is really helpful for a lot of all-in strategies that revolve around using the market and just sending 20 vills to gold. Even if you're not going for an all-in though, just having these mining camp technologies available lets you get a really smooth boom, and when it comes time to spamming the military and getting castles, your gold and stone income just flies through the roof. In fact, once the Bohemians get going with their military, it can feel so hard to stop them, not only because they have a really solid death ball push, but it just feels like they get all their gold and stone instantly, so you have to deal with a strong army and immediate map presence once late Castle Age and Imperial Age rolls around. It's once again that this bonus given to any other civilization would automatically make them broken. Like I said earlier, the Malians had just 1 of these bonuses, both gold upgrades, and that got nerfed, so any strong early game civilization getting those technologies would be absolutely busted. It just so happens that it's kind of balanced because the Bohemians are not exactly an early game powerhouse. Yes, they have some strong all-ins and they have some strong cheesy strats that could be amazing in the early game, but overall they are a late game oriented civilization, which is kind of why this bonus flies under the radar. In my opinion, this is one of the craziest bonuses in the game, and the fact that it's untouched, untalked about as well, is insane. But rest not, all the top level players know how insane this deck is, and you bet your ass they are using it. In fact, I would even argue that it's not the Hussite wagon or the monks that are actually the problem for the Bohemian all-in rushes. And I say problem within quotations, you know, all-in rushes. There's a debate whether it's healthy or not, but if we're assuming that it's a problem, it's not exactly the unique unit that's the problem for Bohemians in Castle Age. It's actually the free mining camp technologies that facilitate all their early game rushes. Those are the problem to the early game rushes and not the unique unit. Before I show you guys number 1, I've got a couple honorable mentions to talk about because I really felt like these bonuses were solid, worth mentioning, but not exactly on my top 5. The first one is the extra HP from the camels of Saracens. They get a direct plus 25 HP bonus on all camel units starting in the Castle Age. This is huge for both their Mamelukes and their camels, and if you guys remember not too long ago, they actually had to pay for most of this bonus. In fact, a long time ago, they had to pay for all of this bonus, and it slowly got turned into a free bonus, and now it's 100% free straight from from the Castle Age. This makes your camels a base of 125 with bloodlines that makes it 145. 145 HP camel is a monster in Castle Age. This basically made Saracens one of the top camel civilizations in the game, and not only that, Saracens also have a really strong timing with the market and with crossbows, so combining the camels with the crossbows leads to all kinds of nasty early Castle Age pressure. Overall, this extra camel HP from the Saracens is a really strong bonus, but not quite top 5 material because it only affects a couple units. If it was a bit broader, it would definitely be in there. And my second honorable mention that I felt like was neck and neck with the Saracen bonus was the Byzantine cheaper units. Having 25% discount on spear line, skirm line, and camel line gives you a ton of flexibility with the Byzantine and lets you set up some crazy counters. I really think this bonus makes the Byzantines as a civ, and while the Byzantines do get some other bonuses that are quite nice for the civilization in general, this bonus is really what makes Byzantines competitively viable and what makes Byzantines so appealing to play. It is worth mentioning the Byzantine bonus is way better than the Goth bonus because the Goth bonus affects infantry, and if you guys don't know what infantry are doing in this day and age, watch my video called The Unfortunate State of Infantry and you'll understand why that Goth bonus is just simply not that great. Obviously it's amazing, the discount is crazy on infantry, but infantry are just in kind of a bad state at the moment, whereas the Byzantine bonus is affecting a lot more meta relevant options, and it gives you that flexibility having 3 different options getting the discount. That is why Byzantine bonus is very solid and almost got a spot on the list. Moving on to the number 1, the best civilization bonus in Age of Empires 2 in my opinion. I think this is by far and above the best economical bonus in the game. It's free wheelbarrow and free handcart from the Vikings. Now, you guys might not know how insane this bonus is if you're new to the game, but any longtime player, be it even a longtime casual player or a competitive player, no matter who you are, if you've been playing for a long time, you definitely understand how strong free wheelbarrow and free handcart is for the Vikings. In fact, it is so strong that the Vikings have virtually nothing else going in their favor as far as like a civilization on land, because this bonus needs to be balanced somehow by removing their tech tree options. So free wheelbarrow and handcart is saving them 475 food and 250 wood total between feudal age and castle age, but that's not the best part. Obviously those resources aren't that crazy if you think about it, but really the crazy part is that those upgrades take up 5 villagers worth of TC time, 3 for wheelbarrow and 2 for handcart. I don't know why handcart comes in faster, but it's just the way it goes. Those 5 vills worth of TC time means that if your opponent were to say, okay, listen, I'm playing against Vikings, I'm gonna rush wheelbarrow and then rush handcart, that will put him behind 5 villagers. So not only are you up the 475 food and the 250 wood, you're also up 5 villagers over your opponent. That is a monumental economical advantage, and it's the best bonus in the entire game, giving Vikings such a sick lead over pretty much any other civ in the game, economically speaking. It's also worth mentioning that wheelbarrow and handcart kicking in right away is such a nice little touch to this bonus as well. They are probably the most important upgrades to have come in right away, just because of how much they affect your economy. Overall, this bonus is saving you a decent amount of raw resources, a lot of vills worth of TC time, and kicking in right away lets you get a really smooth economy. This bonus given to any other civilization in the game would automatically make it broken, and I challenge you to come with any civilization, including Dravidians, that would not become broken with this civilization handed to them. Alright, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys found it interesting. Again, there's so many strong bonuses and I could have missed a few that definitely deserve to be on the list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below and what your list looks like. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you did enjoy the video. If you want more content from me, check out my live stream on Twitch, link in the description. And check out my Patreon if you want to get better. There's all kinds of exclusive videos and guides there. Link is also in the description. Appreciate you all. Have a nice day and peace.